Wamor kwaneni. Wamor ahinya.
The burial of veteran politician Phoebe Asiyo in Homa Bay County turned into a political spectacle on Friday when Siaya Governor James Orengo made a dramatic return to the public stage, receiving a hero's welcome that overshadowed the presence of both President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga. Orengo, who had been away in the United States of America for treatment, has been missing from the public eye for weeks, sparking speculation about his health and political future. His arrival at the funeral was nothing short of electrifying. The crowd broke into loud cheers, chanting his name and surging forward to greet him, forcing Governor Gladys Wanga to personally step in and calm the charged audience before the program could proceed.
Ako ajimi kabisa. Kora dimbele giwach. Adimbele koso.
Even Ruto and Raila, seated in the VIP tent, had no choice but to stand as the crowd demanded a royal welcome for Orengo. The Siaya governor's entry had all the marking of political theatre, a reminder that in Nyanza politics, his influence runs deep and his absence had only heightened his stature.
Oh, mana James Orengo nyatieng. Warua kura Jimmy. Warua kuru nyatieng. Karibu nyatieng.
When he finally addressed the mourners, Orengo did not hold back. His speech was pointed, calling on both Ruto and Raila to protect and expand Kenya's democratic space. He spoke of the need for leaders to uphold the principles for which figures like Phoebe Asiyo had fought all their lives, warning against political intimidation and shrinking freedoms.
Homa Bay oye! Homa Bay oye! Poka winja ujo Homa Bay oye!
But it wasn't just Orengo's words that told the story. It was the atmosphere. The people hung on to every sentence, cheering him on as though he had returned from a victorious political battle. For many in the crowd, seeing Orengo back to the podium was a reassurance that their trusted political voice was still as strong.
I want to say a few words because it's a very solemn occasion. This lady here, I can say honestly, if we trace back to the movement for human rights and talking about women's rights being human rights, Phoebe Asiyo was ahead of her time.
President Ruto, however, did not enjoy the same warmth. When he rose to deliver his condolences on behalf of the government, sections of the crowd made their disapproval clear, rejecting his message with murmurs and heckles. It was a rare and uncomfortable moment for a sitting president, especially in such a public setting. The tension was so visible that event organizers had to move quickly to keep the program flowing.
And I want to commit that as the head of the executive, that 10-point agenda will be implemented to the letter. The journey towards the implementation of that agenda began.
Raila, who was for decades commanded the Nyanza vote, watched the unfolding drama with a mix of surprise and political calculation. While the ODM leader remains the region's top figure, Orengo's reception was a reminder that local political loyalty can have multiple centers of power. For years, Orengo has been Raila's close ally, but also his own man, a constitutional lawyer, activist, and a seasoned politician with an independent following.
So I hope that with this new spirit that is coming up, this new committee that is going to look into issues of those who are assaulted or suffered during the demonstrations, that this is a new awakening, that Kenya is a democratic nation that believes in human rights. Thank you very much.
In the weeks he was away, rumors swirled about his health and ability to remain politically active. Friday's reception put those doubts to rest. In fact, his absence seems to have increased his political capital. The people of Nyanza have always respected fighters, and Orengo's history of standing up to successive governments, including his fierce criticism of Ruto's administration, has kept his name firmly in their hearts. His sharp opposition to Ruto's policies, especially on governance and economic management, has made him a target of state criticism, but in Nyanza, that has only boosted his standing. To many, he represents a bridge between the region's long history of political resistance and its modern-day struggles for accountability. That is why his return at Asiyo's burial carried a much weight. Phoebe Asiyo herself was a symbol of courage and principle in politics, and Orengo positioned himself as the inheritor of that legacy during his speech. He reminded the mourners that democracy is not a gift from leaders, but a right that citizens must guard, a line that drew loud applause. For Ruto, the day was a reminder of how tough it will be to win over Nyanza, even with outreach programs and government projects. The rejection of his condolences was symbolic, not just about the funeral, but about the deep political mistrust that still lingers between his administration and the region.
Asiyo wacho odd, Okachi wacho odd, Karachuonyo wacho odd.
For Raila, it was both a show of regional unity and a signal that Orengo's political weight is something to watch closely. While the two remain allies, politics has a way of reshaping relationships, especially when the grassroots give such an emphatic display of loyalty to one of their own. As the event ended, the conversation among mourners were less about the funeral and more about Orengo's return. His handshake with Raila and brief nod to Ruto were polite, but the day's focus was firmly on him. In a single appearance, James Orengo reminded everyone that in Nyanza politics, absence can make the heart grow fonder, and that a hero's welcome is not given lightly. His supremacy in the region, at least for now, is unquestionable.
Nyasaye ber seche te. Asante sana.
But as we speak today, there is no national monument in Nairobi named after Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And that is a trend in this nation that we must correct. In this county, I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, the person who brought UNEP to Kenya is Odero Joy. There's a time when you had any leader coming from abroad, the first person they would ask you about is Odero Joy. We have all forgotten about Odero Joy.